Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to JTAINMENT program. My name is JT. On today's episode, we are joined by Mr. Makeke from University of Johannesburg, a legal student and a passionate community leader. Okay, Mr. Makeke, welcome to JTAINMENT program, my brother.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you. So what inspired you to get involved in community activism and social justice work?
Okay, firstly, I'm from Elangabe,
right,
which is in the far east of Johannesburg. So it's a township which is disadvantaged.
All right.
So, and I must put it that I was doing history in high school, so that's where my consciousness comes from. You know, like when you study the Steve Biko's, the Martin Luther King, therefore, for me, like I became aware of my surrounding from that at tender age.
Right.
So then when I started getting involved like in entrepreneurship, and I see that okay, this is a gift that I can share with others, and by that time I was already aware of my skills and my special talents, and like let me use them as a vehicle to create change in the community and create that social consciousness as well.
Oh, that's interesting. Speaking of which, you mentioned about entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So how did you generate this format of foods and the finance under the sun?
Okay, so the finance under the sun is actually the slogan for Lalabe's Finance, which is official clothing brand. So I started it in 2016 when I was doing my first year at UG as an LLB first year student. So I started because I wanted to tell my story and because I love clothes.
Right.
And I was positioned in a place where, university campus fashion is the thing. Then I was like, let me start something that will create conversations.
Right.
And then I started Lalabe's Finance there. That's how it began, as a way to tell my story of victory and resilience. In 2018,
right,
I started selling arch in my race. So initially it was a salvage plans with everything. Okay. Because like when I was young, like in Namanje from Manuliza and I'm bringing the arch. So I used to eat every meal with arch. Like my sisters used to be made into. I would make sure that Acha must be there. Right. So when I was at race, I said, my own stars Acha here, and at home they know how to make it. Let me bring this business here. Right. And I started selling it. I just call it establishment with everything. And 2001, and then came up with the name, like to say sfumato, which is an Italian term for blended. Right. For like sfumato, establishment with everything. And throughout from there, I was able to extend that opportunity to students to sell in their respective residences. So I would give like a consignment to the students, say, okay, I want 400 to done selling the pipeline, but you will have to pay upfront. Right. I will train you how to sell, I give you the marketing tools, right. Then you sell, you keep the rest, you give me the 400. Right. So that's pretty much how everything started.
It's interesting. So you mentioned about the community work.
Yes.
Yeah, can you share an example of a project or campaign or a case that highlights the power of law in advancing social cause?
Okay, so as far as law in terms of like community work, right. I can give you an example of a case from, it's like the Institute of Freedom of Expression. Right. So in that case, there were three ladies. So the University of Pretoria, they wanted to do some sort of a research. Right. So, and mind you, it's the early 2000s. So the research, they wanted to introduce a treatment for HIV positive patients. Okay. So as a result, there were issues with those three patients. So there was a report, another report. But to cut the long story short of the fact of the case, then Parisha Tili, the MP, ran from Democratic Alliance. So she had a book Right. And in her book, they disclose the names of the patients. Okay. So the effect before the court was that they have somehow infringed their rights to dignity, their right to privacy, because they didn't consent for their names to be displayed in that book. Right. So the court, as a result, they said, okay, these people, they need to be compensated like with 40,000 each, because of one of them ended up losing their relationship because the boyfriend maybe was not aware. She was not ready to inform the boyfriend. Now it's now in the news that so and so is HIV positive. Others, they were subjected to abusing their families, because in 2000 people, they still had stigma. So that's how the court was able to address something that was a serious issue in the community to move away from the stigmatization of HIV positive status.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm motivated. Yeah. So you're studying in the University of Joburg, right?
Yeah, University of Johannesburg.
So you completed your LLB?
I'm done my LLB, did my postgraduate diploma. Currently, I'm registered for masters in cyber law. But I'm only left with a few things, then I'll be done. But I'm done with the coursework.
Okay. So for both activists and law students, how do you collaborate across the different fields, law, education, social work, policy, to create real impact?
Okay, so at the University of Johannesburg, especially the Faculty of Law,
right,
they have a lot of initiatives. There's the CAMFA initiative, which empowers like women in leadership positions. So they also collaborate like with foundations to address social justice, socio-economic issues, right. Because law is a tool that we use to effect a community empowerment as well as social justice. Because, for instance, a judge, when they are faced with a matter, right, they have what they call judicial discretion. Okay. Meaning or judicial activism, right, versus judicial deference. So a judge, in certain instances, they can use their discretion to effect social change, right, using the law. But at times, because judges, they don't make the law, they have to defer, meaning that refer the matter back to Parliament to develop that specific law. But there are instances where they can use that. Therefore, the law students in universities, right, for instance, in your final year at University of Johannesburg, right, they have the law clinic where you are offering legal services or advices. So an institution does not charge the clients. So people go there and get the services for free. Okay. So, and as part of your marks, right, for applied legal studies, which comprises of law clinic, right, you have to go to an NPO or a home and serve like 40 hours, right, of charity work. Okay. And that will be part of your marks. So from undergrad level, you are being conscientized to be aware of the social needs as well as the community needs. Because as a lawyer, you want to be a watchdog of this democratic society. So that's how you train from that stage.
Interesting, I'm learning today. Yeah. So what misconception do people have about activism, community work, or the legal field?
Okay, the misconception about the legal field is that lawyers lie.
Is it true? They are lying?
No, it's not true. Because you need to be a fit and a proper person. Meaning that you need to be ethical, yeah, you need to, because you are a court official as a lawyer, right? Right. So you should never mistake the court in any given scenario. Right. So then that's one reason. And another one, I don't know if it's a misconception, it's a misinformation, is that everyone who's in law, you think criminal law. Official law is being involved. There's a lot of branches, a lot of areas of law. So then another social, when you are activism and community work, is that people, they think you are in it for your stomach most of the time, like that misconception, and activism, they mistake it for being political, like being politician. When you're active, they think some sort of a campaign, like what are you trying to become? What are your political ambitions?
Right.
And sometimes you see like your gifts and what you can offer in the streets and use that, like knowing that, because now I know that there's things that can make me money as an entrepreneur, but I can spend time and do other things that don't necessarily have to make me money. You see, then make that distinction.
Okay. So how can education for formal and informal better prepare future change makers?
So, formal education is extremely important because it shapes and it trains your mind in terms of, even now, the ability to articulate myself. Like formal education has a lot to do with this.
Okay.
Reading, standing in front of, doing those public presentations as a form of curriculum. So, and to be able to think outside the box, and in particular, law has an ability to stretch your mind. Like, someone who has a law degree, right? Like, they can do something that is not related to law, but there's something special about how they think and how they perceive the world and how they listen to information and how they interpret it. Because it's an interpretation-based type of. So, but formal education overall, like people sometimes speak of law because that's what I've studied. But across the board, like you get institutionalized in a sense that you somehow go through some sort of a ritual. I like to think of, even though it sounds scary, but it is, because when somebody went through formal education, there's a certain way you act, you behave, like, because you went through that, and therefore that's like personal development, like ability to articulate your thoughts, and what you're thinking, and say how it is, whether in writing or verbally. That skill in itself, you can even use it in your social spaces, in your household space, even if you're in a relationship, because communication gets it. Then informal, I'm also a student of informal because I consider my parents one of the wisest people that I've encountered in my life, because I've spent a lot of time with my father when he was alive, and there's a lot of things that based on lived life experience. Like the stories and the resilience, and my mom has seen that, because that's basically where my entrepreneurial spirit comes from. She's an entrepreneur. So, and I observe how she was able to sustain her business throughout the years. I mean, since I was born, my mother has never worked for me. I'm 30 years old now, so she's been in business for more than 30 years. Okay. So that's informal education. So I don't have any formal business education. Okay. So you see that I can say I'm the best of both worlds, because I have formal education and informal education. So informal education comes from my parents, like the entrepreneurial side, in terms of how she runs it. Like, she's so transparent on how she does things, where she stocks, when she stocks, how to prepare, even how to make acha. She's the one that told me. Okay. And the importance of have time to buy stock and have time to sell and make the difference, all of those things, and how to treat the people that you work with and the people that works for you. See, so they're both equally important.
It's very motivating. So what's next for you and your organization? Any upcoming initiatives or campaigns or collaboration you're excited about?
Okay, so for Langabelis Finest, next year we'll be turning 10 years. Usually around this time, we have an event. Right. I was like, no, let's do it next year when we do like 10 years. And it will also be 10 years of a lot of things, like in terms of it will be. I started my first year 2016, 2026, I'll be 31. There's a lot to be grateful for. So there's that event. And next year around this time, so I want to give myself enough time to plan and execute something massive. Okay. So then me and my friends, we just recently registered an NPO. And it's the first time I'm talking about this. This is an exclusive, and it's very important to me because I'm a new dad. I have a son who is like 22 years in Feb. So it's called Dads Inc. So we are a group of dads. We want to create a safe space for fathers
Right.
A space where a father and a child can bond.
Right.
You know, where because there's that gap between fathers and their kids. You know, right? You know, there's people like they will tell you they've never had their fathers tell them I love you, or have their fathers give them a hug. You know, so we and I'm glad that young people and young fathers they're sharing that narrative, that close relationship with their kids. So we are going to create that space, and most of us like we are legal minds. So to a point whereby we will end up if there's a father who's not given access to their kids, we'll end up stepping into those situations where we are giving pro bono cases to say, no man, we have to have access to your kids. So this is just a tip of an iceberg of what we're going to do. So I'm extremely excited because I'm literally growing. Like this is in a collaborative or in an initiative that I'm embarking on at the right time. Like I'm a new father, and most of them they are like older kids, so I'm learning in that space as well on how to, you know, like we are going to be mentoring each other as well to say how can we become the best dads to our kids. So that's the thing.
Yeah, it is interesting and motivating.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for you guys interview JTAINMENT podcast next year again. So
yes,
where can anyone find you on social media?
So on social media, Facebook in particular, it's Gifty T Makeke.
Right.
On Instagram, it's Gifty T Makeke. So yeah, those are the social media platforms where I'm normally available on. Then from there, I respond to inboxes. I don't have a problem. My numbers are really there as well. You see, so yeah, that's where you can find me.
Oh wow, I've learned so much today. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and I'm glad that I'm here to have this wonderful chat with you.
Let's change people's lives, and also our goal will be impact, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
For more information about this chat, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or WhatsApp us at 0608929524. Simnandi, next time we're going to be